Hey guys, Rob Adams here. It's been a while since I've made one of these PSAs, but I think it's very important that I get some education to you guys on the new AB 1263 that goes in effect January 1st, 2026. So let me just go over this real quick. I'm going to make this very brief. I don't want to bore you guys, but I'm just going to give you the key outlines of this new law and how it's going to affect every buyer in the state of California and affect dealers that are trying to ship into California. It's going to be a headache. But AB 1263 goes in effect January 1st, 2026. This imposes strict new requirements on all sales and delivery of firearms, accessories, and unattached barrels. I know, crazy. Accessories, unattached barrels, not firearms whatsoever, but now there's going to be all kinds of restrictions on those to you, the residents of California. All right, let's go over the key provisions of AB 1263. Age and identity verification. What does that mean, you ask? Well, glad you asked. Sellers must verify a buyer's age and identity using a government-issued photo ID, proving they are at least 18 years of age, up to 21 on most accessories. So that's going to be a big one. I know a lot of people want to be anonymous when they come in. We get it every single day. You want to remain anonymous if you're paying cash. You just want to walk in, grab your stuff, and you want to go. That's not going to be that's not going to be available to you anymore after this, after the first of the year. Mandatory purchase notice. So what this means, and I'll read this out in layman's terms. The buyer must be provided a notice and acknowledge in writing they understand it. So whatever it is. That explains it is a crime in California to manufacture firearms without a license, including manufacturing 4 or more in a year or using a 3D printer CNC machine without a license. So I don't understand like where they're going with this. You're allowed to build your own firearms at home. That has been ruled on many times over, and but now they want you to put this in writing. So you're going to sign this piece of paper. We are going to retain that, and anytime the DOJ comes in to do an audit, they're going to ask for these forms, and you're basically signing your life away, saying that you understand the new law that is going in effect January 1st, 2026. Bonkers, I know. Shipping requirements. Shipped packages must be labeled with signature and proof of identification of persons aged 18 years or older required on all deliveries. So if you're buying something online, you're going to have to sign for this. They're going to have to verify your age, verify that your ID is correct, and also the seller that is selling it into the state of California to you is going to have to retain that information, just like the dealer would in California. So it's just very burdensome. It's like more paperwork, stacking paperwork on the dealers, on any retailer, either in person or online sale, which is going to make it even more difficult for dealers to want to participate in selling things to California. People hate California as it is. It's already hard enough to get dealers to sell or ship things to California, even though it's a huge market. Now they're going to have to retain all these records, and we'll see who wants to do that. Geisley this weekend already came out and said they are no longer selling and they are no longer allowing their products into California. So hopefully there'll be some workarounds on that. We'll touch on that later. Let's see. Expanded definition of firearms and accessories. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing with you guys. I think it's behoove you to go read the bill yourself so that you're not surprised when you go into a dealer of mine, a dealer anywhere in the state of California, because these are going to be requirements that the dealer is going to have to comply with. So there's no way of getting around this. I think a couple of the big ones too. Effective July 1st, 2027, the transfer of all standalone barrels must be, well, I'm going to read this verbatim. The transfer of all standalone barrels at an FFL will require the purchaser to appear in person and to complete a background check on a barrel. So that starts July 1st, 2027. Guys, I don't know where this ends. I've been doing this now in California for almost 20 years. It seems like every time we get a leg up, a new gun added to the roster. One's taken away. We get a leg up. The other leg is kicked out from underneath of us. The problem is, every time that we take something like this to court, it takes years and years and years to get a win. Now, I'm not saying that everything is just totally crazy. There has been some wins in California, but like I said, it takes forever to get there. So educate yourself before you get shocked when you go into a dealer to buy parts and accessories for your ARs, your pistols, and we're asking you to fill out paperwork and show us your ID, and we're retaining that information. So just be patient with your dealers. If you want to get more involved and you want to learn a little bit more, go read this whole bill because it's huge. So I don't want to bore you with all this. Go and read it on your leisure. These are just the bullet points of the bill, AB 1263. So go check that out. I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a safe and happy New Year. We are going to continue to fight these crazy rules and regulations, but at a point, I don't know that it's going to be worth it much longer for any dealer to stay in California. I know that's where I was born and raised. It's where I started Sacramento Black Rifle, out of the trunk of my car, out of my garage, into our first 500 square foot shop, and now into 3 stores. I just don't know where this ends and how much longer dealers like myself are willing to stay and fight in such a hostile environment. We don't deal with that kind of thing here in Idaho. We don't deal with those things in Nevada. It's only California, Washington, Oregon, where they just keep stripping everybody's rights away. And it's just, it gets to a point where it's so hostile. Do you stay? Do you give up? I don't know. And, you know, every gun I put on the street down in California is a liability to us. Even though we have insurance, we could be held criminally responsible for anything that happens with a firearm in that state. And it's just, it's a huge risk. So I love it. There's a lot more things I could be doing to make a lot more money than being in the gun business, because obviously there's not a lot of profit margin in guns. But I love it. I love our customers. I love what we do. And we're going to continue the fight, but we all need to be educated. We need to get involved. So the days of the gun owners, you know, hiding underneath a rock thinking that these things aren't going to happen, well, here we are. We're almost 20 years in at Sacramento Black Rifle, and these are just getting more crushing every single year. So go educate yourself. Please go read the bill. AB 1263 goes in effect in just a couple of days. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon.